Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
We're ready. Woo!
Good evening. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Doing awesome.
We have a face today. We have a guest.
Yes, we do. We're so excited to have Anna Brigida Impiduglia. It took me months to learn how to say the name, but I love saying it. Excited. We're excited to have you, Anna. How you doing?
We're doing good. Thank you for having me on, guys. I'm really excited to be here.
Exactly. Listen, it's crazy because we were thinking about one of the sequence we had, like an episode 2. We talked about pretty much the we call it power owning, be an owner, not a loaner, and everything that you do. And one thing is so important. One of the things that's, I guess, tangible for people to own a home. Ownership is so powerful. And I wanted to have Anna come up. I mean, because Anna's like, we got a chance to meet Anna past year or so, right? Anna's a tremendous friend. So much energy. We're part of the same networking group, business networking group together. And we got a chance to meet Anna. I just love the spirit. I love her excitement. I'm kind of skeptical person at heart. And when I got a chance to meet Anna, her spirit just she made me feel welcome. She made me feel special. So we kind of connected right away. And when we're thinking about this topic, we say, you know what, we got to get. I have great realtor friends, and they do a great job. They're awesome. But we wanted to get Anna on because Anna, we've seen the hard work that she's done. We've seen personally spending time with her, Eileen and I. We've seen how dedicated she is to her clients. I mean, she works overtime. We were at a convention, I think 6 months ago. She was at 11, 12 o'clock at night, right, working on clients to make sure everything gets done. And to me, that's commitment. That really, like, you know what, that really touched me. So when we talk about this topic, so we got to get Anna on. She's a great communicator, and we want to have her on to kind of give more insight on this great topic.
Listen, are you guys looking at these comments? Like, she's a superstar.
Yes.
I see Robert there. I was like, Robert and Jen, and I know I love all of you guys, and I really appreciate those kind words, because I think when me and Liz went back a few months ago, we were talking about how I got into real estate. And so a little bit about me is I'm originally from Canada. And so prior to real estate, I was a social worker. So I had no idea what I was going into. And when I came down here, I opened up a property management company. So that's actually how I was basically getting in to fill a service gap. We're having issues, right? You were saying communication, as you know, and how you've gotten to know me, you know, communication is super important to me. So I appreciate you guys having me here, and I'm really excited to kind of talk about some of those benefits with you guys.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So great. Good. So Bernard, what's the topic?
Yes, let's go. It's the power of home ownership. If you think about people think, what is the American dream, right? What's the American dream is own a home. That's pretty much the American dream. Everyone to strive to own a home. And that I think is so important. So we want to cover the benefits of it more. I mean, a lot of people know, but really give a really nice structure, educational perspective, the power of home ownership, right? So if you look at the next slide, right? Let's look at equity. For example, people ask, well, is it worth owning a home? Listen, this is the power. If someone had a house, right, bought a $250,000 house 30 years ago, right? And if you look at the straight line, that same home on average, I think it's about 5% a year growth average. They would have $925,000 worth of equity. That same home will grow to $925,000. And look at, if they do the right things and keep the mortgage down, that's $925,000 net worth someone can have in 30 years on average. So I want to ask Anna, what are some benefits have you seen yourself in your experience of owning a home?
So for me, so as you know, I'm a property manager, right? So we manage homes from Haines City all the way to Claremont and Kissimmee area. So protection for rent increases, right? So for an example, even for myself a few years ago when we were renting, within a 2-year period, our rent went up $1,000. That is insane, right? So people were taking advantage of, especially during the COVID times. People are like, you were desperate to have your own place. People were having issues finding rentals when they were aware about what was going on with COVID. So with a fixed mortgage rate, your monthly payments remain predictable for the long term, unlike rent, which can increase annually due to market conditions. So that is a huge one. You're talking about building equity, ownership versus rent payments, right? So when you buy a home, your mortgage payment contributes to building equity in the property, meaning you are investing in an asset that can appreciate in value over time, all right? Rent payments, on the other hand, don't contribute to ownership. Over the years, as you pay off your mortgage, you gain ownership of the valuable asset that you can grow in worth, providing a return on investment when you sell the property, right? So that is huge, right? You talked about that increases over a 30-year period. That is insane, right? So another one, right? Potential the tax benefits, mortgage interest rate deductions, right? Homeowners can often deduct mortgage interest and property taxes from their annual tax returns, which can result in significant savings, right? People forget about that. They kind of get, when you're a renter, you start thinking about, oh my God, all I got to do is make this payment. I don't got to worry about property taxes, HOA. I don't got to worry none of that. You got to understand that property taxes, all of that is built into your monthly payment. So really, you're paying about the same thing.
Listen, you're convincing Robert and I to hurry up and buy already.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially in this market, Liz, especially in this market. It's been absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Let's look at the next slide, because a lot of things you talked about, Anna, is actually in the next slide. So you can go over it, right?
Yeah. So let me just take a look here.
She was hitting it big time. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. Cool.
So yeah, building equities, huge tax advantages. We talked about your home, your way. So when you're renting, right? So you can't do all the things that you want to do with the house. You want to paint it pink and green and all the fun things. You can't do that. You want to hang up a picture frame. We don't allow any of our renters to personalize the walls, right? Because then you got to fill the holes, all of that. Emotional benefits. Well, being a homeowner can bring you happiness and a sense of pride, right? This says right that it says that it's huge. It's one of the biggest investments someone will make in their lifetime. And so that is a great emotional benefit for them. And stability is another one. Planting roots could save you money in the long run. And we've talked about that. So yeah, all of that are great things.
Wow. All right. Did you guys jot that down? Is she laying down some truth? Come on,
call me out, guys. Call me out.
Yeah. Some fire emojis if she's speaking some truth here with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is what happens if you think about emotional benefits. I know Eileen. I know my wife. She's very. She has to be very creative, right? So she likes to do certain things. So if someone like that, you need to have your own home. I'm like, you got to have your own home because there's certain things that you want to do for yourself, and knowing that you're coming to something that's yours. Just the power knowing that you've accomplished something. This is mine.
Yeah, I'll give you an example, Bernard. I'm sorry. We had a client that just recently moved in, and we allowed them to get a dog, right? So they moved into the property about 6 weeks ago, and they just purchased a puppy, right? Most home renters have dogs. It's just the way of the thing, and they wanted to build a fence all the way around the pool cage. They could not do that. So those are just some of the examples, right? So they can't do what they want to do in order to expand or develop or whatever it is that they have any ideas or what they want to work on. They can't do that in a rental. They can do that in their own home though. And it's just a matter of sitting down with someone like you to find out what their financial capacity is.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that. It's so important. And that's what happens sometimes. Like we had a dog, we had a dog. Like, oh my God, what are we gonna do with our dog Bella? We're renting. What should we have? I mean, it was crazy. Thinking about we had to have her stay somewhere for a little bit until we figured everything out. So that is so true to be able to pet, because a pet is a very important part of a lot of people's lives, and a lot of times something they don't allow, and not because anything wrong. It's just sometimes his pets do a little damage. I just call it what it is, right? So that happens sometimes. So that's why a lot of landlords are concerned about doing that, which is so important. So let me ask you a question. A lot of people, and on the side, you hear so much concern, especially like you said, during the pandemic, a lot of rates went down, and it was like 2%, 3%. So people buying house, and we see with the market kind of prices went up dramatically since I guess 2021, right? And interest rates went up too. So a lot of people are concerned. A lot of people right now are sitting on the sideline. They want to listen. They're gonna wait something for the prices to go down, interest rates to go down, and I don't know if that's ever gonna anytime soon, right? So can you share with the crowd out there? Listen, why is it so important? Why should you not be on the sideline? What is the benefit of, let's say, taking a plunge now? What is the benefits of taking advantage of home ownership now?
So there's a thing that we like to say, is the only bad time to buy property is later, right? So everybody's always trying to time the market. It's never going to work that way. A lot of people were hesitant, right? With the elections going on, a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to wait to see what happens. And that's just really not the mindset. A lot of them are fixated on things like interest rates, right? But they're not understanding that it's actually the home price is what they should focus on. Right now with this market, you're able to get maybe $30,000 to $40,000 in what you could have gotten about, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And for example, we just got up in Groveland. We're putting a client under contract, and we came off $30,000 off the price. We also got them a new AC and a new water heater. I mean, that would not have happened if they would have waited, right? So that's a huge thing. So another, buyers they lack the understanding of their financial capacity. That's another thing. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. It's repetitive, right? And so a big thing, and the reason why we started BNI, right, the networking group, was because you don't have to know everything. You just need to know the people that know the answers. So a lot of the times is just connecting them with a financial advisor instead of saying, hey, come see me in a year from now when you're ready. You're right. They just send them away. Hey, come see me in a year. No, right away, we send them to you. We send them to Joey, and you guys sit down with them and you do a financial analysis to find out, okay, let's deep dive and find out what's going on. Hey, you know what? You have some money. Let's work with Anna and let's talk about different programs. And I think that's coming up next. So
that's awesome. Absolutely. Alistair's saying, where were you when I was looking for a place? So
listen, I'm here now.
Yep. We need to network. Folks. You don't have to know it all, but know the people who do know the things that you need to know. That's so good. Next slide. The power of home ownership. We're talking about.
Yeah, before I go into that, I want to ask you something, Anne. You mentioned something. There's a lot of programs that people are not even aware of. What I know, every situation is different, right? But what are some of the things that you've seen out there, that like little perks that you've seen out there that people are able to, are not even aware that they can actually take advantage of out there? What are some of the things that you've seen that help facilitate for people to own a home?
Okay, so in Polk County, there are several programs to assist home buyers, especially first-time home buyers, right? And achieving home ownership. Like, the state wants to help homeowners get into a house. So different things that we have are like the Hometown Heroes, right? They had a lot of money allotted to home buyers and helping them with closing costs. That was huge. Another program that I have used that has been fantastic is SHIP, and they help with down payment assessment, closing costs, all types of like secondary loans at 0% interest. And it's just a matter of filling out the application. So it's absolutely fantastic. It's just a matter of deep diving, finding out, because everything is situational, right? So you got to sit down with the client. Okay, what do you need help with? And that's where I work with you and Joey, and we discuss. Okay, this is what they need. Okay, they need a program. So let's and I start investigating. And there's always new programs that are coming out, and there's programs that have been around for years that people do not know about. So,
and we got a question: what qualifies you for first-time home buyer?
Yes.
What qualifies me? Well, I'm a realtor. I'm in the program, so I specialize in first time.
What would qualify a person to be a first-time owner? Like,
okay, so it has
I owned a home 10 years ago, but I haven't owned another home.
No, I understand. Okay, so basically, it requires, so if you purchase, let's say you've already purchased a home, you have to wait about 3 years until you requalify to purchase again. Wow. And you be considered. So yeah, so let's just say you owned a home and then you ended up selling and you rented for a few years. Within a 3-year period, you could go ahead and be considered by the county as a first-time home buyer and your lender. So it's yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow. I didn't even know that. I thought a lot of times, for example, if you own a home, that's it. Even if it was 10, 20 years ago, that's it. You're done. You qualify. So that's really great. 3 years. Yeah. Wow.
I thought it was more years than that. Yes. So the fact that you just said 3 years, you just dropped a gold nugget. My husband and I are going to have a conversation, because I think, we were married previously. So I had a place before, but that was like 10 years ago. And he had a place probably 7 years ago. And now we're in a place where we would be considered first time homeowners. Like, that's wild.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be in your home right now so it just depends, all situational, but there's a lot of things that we don't know about. And it's just crazy what there is out there.
Wow.
So
I should have came to you when I was moving out here, right? From New York, right? Crazy, right?
Listen.
It's good to know. So let's take a look at the power of it. So let's say once you get a home, right? What's the best way? This is one of the strategies that people are not even aware of, that some call a biweekly. We call biweekly to own a home. People don't realize a lot of times. Let's say if you own a home, let's say if you have a 30-year mortgage, let's say if you pay the mortgage, if you think about it, most of the interest, if you ever look at your statement, most of the money is going towards principal the first years or so, a lot first 10, 15 years. So let's say someone's paying $2,500 a month for their mortgage, usually about $2,300, $2,400 is going towards interest. Most is going towards principal because it's front loaded. So the challenge is that people, if you have a 30-year mortgage, a lot of people, let's say if you paid your mortgage for 15 years, a lot of people think that they actually paid 15 years, actually paid half the mortgage off. No, you only paid 25% of the mortgage balance.
Yeah.
In those 15 years. So what are some of the things that people can do that we've learned and that we encourage people to do if they can do it, is something, pay a mortgage biweekly, right? Or twice a month. Because let's say, for example, you're paying instead of paying $2,500 one time, you're paying, let's say, $1,250 the first and $1,215 for the month, right? And by doing that, you're cutting down a lot of years of interest, because interest is calculated daily. So over a period of time, you can save a lot of money. Let's take a look at it. Someone has a $250. If you look at the first side, they have a $257,000 mortgage, right? So let's say if they pay for 30 years, right? It takes a long time. You say 30 years, right? If you look at the other aspect, right? Now, if they pay biweekly instead, they can save almost 5.2 years off the mortgage. So instead of having 30-year mortgage, they can pay it off in 25, 24 years sometimes, right? If they even add a little bit extra, right? If they add, let's say, $50 extra payment, instead of getting those coffees, right? $50 extra to each biweekly payment, you can knock it off in what? 8.5 years. So you can pay a 30-year mortgage and knock it off in 21 years.
Right? And those are incredible tips, because people don't talk about that enough. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, which is the last slide, we always teach people how to get out of debt sooner. And one of the ways, like Anna talked about, that you get some tax benefits for debt consolidation. So you can actually take advantage of let's say if someone has a lot, if you look at it sounds a little small if you guys can see it. If someone has, let's say, retail credit cards, so they have like they're paying almost $1,500 a month because a lot of people have debt out there, right? Credit card debt. One thing that's accomplished so much is that people have so much is credit card debt has gone through the roof the past couple of years, a lot of years, and so does equities in a lot of people's homes. So one benefit, let's say if you look at the left side, this person has all these debts, right? And they're paying $1,500 a month for the debt, and they're paying $1,293 for their mortgage. So they're paying about $2,851 to pay off all their debts between the mortgage and all the credit card. They're paying about $2,851. So how much interest they're gonna pay? It'll take them 33 years and 4 months to pay it off, and they're gonna pay about $214,000 in interest, right? And they have 6 debt payments to worry about.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can't save any money. So if you look at it, if someone, let's say, decides to get like consolidation, look at it, see what makes sense. Try to figure it out. Sit down with someone that can help them consolidate their all together. So if you look on the right side, right, they can bring their mortgage right to $1,700 a month because they can consolidate everything. And like Anna talked about, now if credit card interest is not tax deductible, but mortgage interest is tax deductible.
Right.
So you can actually save money on a monthly basis. So if you look on the right side, they'll bring their mortgage down to $1,780 because you can sometimes make sense just consolidate everything because interest rates on debts like 22%, 24%, 18%. So it's very high. So if you look at it now, if they had a little bit extra, right? They add, let's say, an extra $500 they save. They save about almost $1,200. If they just add $500 and not even kind of if they pay that bi-weekly, they can knock everything off in 14 years. Be totally debt-free in 14 years, right? And if you think about what we do, our goal is we teach people how to become financially independent. Once they become debt-free, they can actually use the money they were paying for the debt and invest that money for themselves. And for the same time frame they would have a mortgage, they could have an extra $1 million. They could be totally debt-free, have $1 million accumulated just by using a great strategy.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It makes so much sense. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Anna.
I really want to just throw in there too, because you're talking about all these like tax benefits too. Like when let's just say you purchase a house today, and 10 years from now, when you go to sell it, there's a capital gains exclusion that we talk about. And it says if the home is your primary residence, you can exclude up to $250,000 as a single and $500,000 for a married couple of capital gains when you sell. So providing a tax advantage over renting. So that's another thing to think about too. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you just got to sit down with a professional and have those conversations. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good plan, is what Alistair said. And we have Derwin saying this is so powerful. Jen says we're calling it out today. Look, save money.
Yes, coffee. Yes.
And I had no clue about paying bi-monthly could be so helpful.
It makes a huge difference. It makes a lot of mortgages companies allow you to do that. Some of them they don't really talk about it. They discourage you from doing, but it makes so much sense. We've seen that happen. Even our in-laws, they actually we're able to do the same program for them. They're able to be totally debt free and less than, they brought 30-year down mortgage down to 20 years.
Yeah.
Knocked it off in 20 years. And there's so much you can do. There's so much that you can actually do out there. People, the power of just not only home ownership, but be able to use your home to build wealth, to build assets, also getting out of debt also. And it's such a systematic, effective way. It's so powerful.
And I just want to say a fun fact too. So in 2023, more people moved to Polk County than any other county in the United States, almost 30,000 people. So if you don't know where Polk County is, it's between Orlando and Tampa, and Polk County leads the country in terms of overall growth. So it's an absolute incredible. So on average, when we were discussing, just to reiterate, 3 to 4% a year is what it increases in home equity. And some areas of Florida, like Miami, Tampa, and Orlando, often experience higher appreciation rates due to population growth, because we got Disney, we got the sun, we're next to the ocean, right? So, and there's a reason why people place Disney in Orlando. There's a misconception that old people live here. The average rate or the average age in Orlando is actually 34. So just something to think about.
Isn't that crazy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Robert says, does anybody know a good realtor?
Yes.
Alistair said, I found my realtor. I found my realtor. Okay, so what about against premium? Explain that. Against premium.
I'm gonna go.
You mentioned something. Oh, okay, hold on. He said paying. What about paying against the premium? Does that make sense?
Is it to buy? Is he talking about to buy down the?
Yeah, Derwin, write your question down one more time, and I'll go ahead and pull it up. I want to explore that bi-monthly thing for sure, is what Jen says.
Yeah,
absolutely. It makes so much sense. So you end up paying a lot more money going towards the principal, because interest rates a lot of times calculated daily. So there's a certain way that you pay it. It helps you so much in the long run. Calculates. It's about using compound interest working against the bank, using to your advantage interest, because banks use interest against us. That's why they keep us in debt, right? But you have to find a way to use it. And also, one thing I do recommend, everybody's situation is different, but I always recommend, and if you're refinancing, okay, a lot of people tend to refinance, save money. Here's what you have to be very, very careful of. Try to refinance for the same time frame you have left, if you can lower the interest as much as possible. Because a lot of people, sometimes they get a 20-year, let's say they have 20, sometimes I seem to have 20-year mortgage, 20s, and they kind of bring it back to another 30 years. But you have to understand, you're kind of setting the clock back by doing that. So they have to be very, very careful. If that might be a situation, but I always caution, look at the numbers, see what makes sense, how much, because it's like you're setting the clock backwards. And banks are very, very smart. They understand that they want you what? They want you to go back as much as possible, because why? They get a lot more interest in the front end. So very careful. I always recommend, if you're gonna do that, find a way to get rid of debt. You must find a way to get rid of debt,
so you can pay bi-weekly, not bi-monthly. Like I said, bi-weekly, so that you can bring down that principal. So what about? And that's what I think everyone is saying here. What about paying off the mortgage faster by paying towards the?
Absolutely, you can add more. You can add more money. Get Anna.
No, I think what he's referring is to the MIP, which is like the mortgage insurance premium. So it's just like a charge, right? So depending on your loan, like that's why sometimes I recommend conventional loans, because if you put 20% down, you don't even have to worry about paying that, right? So it's just a matter of getting with the lender. I want to stay in my lane here, but it's a matter of sitting down with the lender and seeing what that looks like, because sometimes it depends on what's more important to you. Is it the interest rate, or is it that MIP payment? Because it is an additional cost, and it can range, from $60 to $200 extra payment. So, yeah,
absolutely. That's the point.
Glad we were able to answer that question.
Absolutely.
Oh, such great stuff. Anna, I see your title is Remax Heritage
Professionals. Yes.
Professionals. Okay, good, because it's kind of like cut off there, but that's fantastic. We need your information if anybody wanted to get a hold of you.
Yeah,
can you give that to us? What is your email?
So you can reach out to me at anna@movewithanna.com. So yeah, we just we're located right in Winter Haven off of Central Avenue. And absolutely. For those that are listening, feel free to reach out. You can text or call me at 407-861-6223.
Absolutely. So that's the way to reach Anna. Absolutely. Yeah. This was awesome. I loved it. This is so powerful. And just to have those resources, a lot of people don't even have those resources necessary. People are scared. We were nervous and scared. We were wondering, even a couple years ago when moving out, should we do it? It's the best time to do it, and we were so concerned. So thank God we did. It made such a huge difference. And I would never get a chance to meet the great group like you guys, friends like you guys. So excited by doing that.
Yeah, we're so excited. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are a wealth of knowledge, Miss Anna. Thank you for joining us today on this episode.
Yeah.
We're going to have Anna back on in the future, Anna. We're going to put you back on. We're going to go back, revisit the episode in the future, and we're definitely going to have you back on.
Absolutely. I mean, it's more of a pleasure. I love doing this stuff, so I'm here to help.
So for those who have been watching on Facebook, those on our YouTube channel, and those who are on Instagram, thank you so much for watching. We enjoyed this so much. This was better than school, says Alistair. This was better than school. And we're so glad that you joined us tonight. And we expect you all next week. Next week, we'll be here yet again for another amazing episode. What do we got coming up next, Mr. Financial Advisor?
We have a couple of great ideas in mind. I'm torn between a couple of them before we close out the year, because since we have is the New Year's Eve the 31st is on Tuesday and Christmas Eve 24th, so we may not have a podcast during those times. So we might we might have like the best episodes. We might replay the best episodes again, and we would kick off the next year. But one thing I want to talk about is how to prepare yourself in 2025. The right mindset, come financial, couple of things that anyone can do to kind of set themselves up to have a great 2025 financially. So we'll come up with some tips out there so people can take advantage of to kind of reset a lot of things that we talked about, kind of reframe it, but specific practical things necessary that they can actually do for them to put themselves in a great position. Because a lot of people are concerned. If you ask most people, how did you do this year? Like I always ask the question, listen, how do you feel your 2024 went financial? Would you say it was better, same, or worse? And for a lot of people, unfortunately, it's less than 10% says better, but 90% say between same or worse. So we got to go in the right direction. We have to take some steps. So we want to give some tips to families out there so they can prepare themselves, so they can actually put themselves. We want everyone, 2025 has to be different. And we need to prepare ourselves and help families get the knowledge and take the steps necessary.
Yes, I love it. I love it. We'll be ready for next week's episode. It's going to be so good. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you much, Anna. Appreciate you.
Of course, appreciate you guys.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition. And until then, keep building your empire.